Hey, hey, hey guys, your orchestra director in quarantine slash. I guess I'm a YouTuber now. This is my life, making YouTube videos to teach you guys. Um, anyway, today I'm gonna focus on the first violin part and kind of just do like I guess a comprehensive lesson on how to play all of your music. Gonna be starting here in this first chunk from the beginning all the way up to measure 12. Before we even get started with that, though, the first thing we want to check out our key signature and time signature. We're in 4/4. Whoopee. No sharps, no flats. We are in A minor, guys. So make sure we're on the lookout, making sure we're playing C natural and F natural, unless you've got an accidental like you've got one here. Um, first thing, I got it. I got mail. Uh, next thing I noticed is we're not actually starting on beat 1. We've got uh, an 8th rest here. So whenever we're countering ourselves in, getting ready to play, says we should be at 96. We're going to go a little bit slower because we're practicing. So here's at 70. So we want to be thinking 1, 2, ready, go, 1, and. Right, we come in on the and. So I'm pizzicato right now. 1, 2, ready, go, 1, and. Right? So whenever you're playing this with your bow, you want to watch out for the slurs, of course. They're kind of in tricky spots. You've got like these first 3 that are slurred. These guys are slurred. These 2 guys here, it won't let me select it, but these 2 guys here are not. Alright, so your bowing will go something like this. 1, 2, ready, go, 1. Okay, I stopped there for a reason. We've got our first accidental here, this F sharp right here, that it also is telling us that we should be playing with low 3. The reason that that is there is because just before we had this C natural, right before that we were playing with low 2. And so it's saying to play F sharp with low 3, so that your second finger doesn't have to make this jump going from C natural to F sharp, but instead your third finger can just grab F sharp just like that. Alright, so we've got like this chromatic all close fingerings happen there. So starting at the beginning of measure 2, C, E, C, C, F sharp. Alright. Moving on to the 3rd and 4th measure, we're going to take this a little different. The way this is written is terrible, to put it bluntly. One, it doesn't really make any sense, like slur, tie, like it doesn't really make sense what this is. So we're going to change the bowings up a little bit, where these 3 are going to be slurred together. So E, C, A slurred together. This will be an up bow. Right, if I can select the one note, I can't. Right here, this one C will be an up bow, tie, and then the rest of this will all be slurred. So basically we're moving this slur to here. So down, up, and then that'll land this down, up. And then we'll be good to go on this down bow here in measure 5. So it'll sound like this. Alright, so we've gotten through the first line together. Luckily, the second line is going to be exactly the same as the first line, so you're basically just repeating what you've already done. Again, just watching out for the low 3. The bowing is going to be the same between those two, so what we changed in the 3rd measure, make sure you're also changing measure 7 as well. Then we get down to these last 4 measures before we hit rehearsal 13, and they are going to sound like this. Close enough. All right, so this brings us to rehearsal 13 now. Um, 13 kind of is continuing on the melody you had before. Again, we have this F sharp accidental here, so it's just, a regular first finger. Watch out whenever it goes back to natural. Here in 14, they were nice and gave you a courtesy accidental. So that's low 1 on your E string, 1 and 3, 4, right? And then here, when we get to pickups to 17, if you're familiar with the actual version of the song, this is where the lyrics actually start. The singing is expressively. So definitely separate this measure into two phrases. 13 through the first 3 beats of 16 is kind of continuing on with what was going on here. So realistically, if I were to put like a rehearsal spot, I would honestly think of it being more here, just as far as the phrasing goes. So the lyrics start here, right? Pickups into 17. It's pretty simple, just making sure we're still, playing C natural, low 2 here. 19, our rhythm gets a little wonky. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and. All right, so it's a little syncopated there. Just make sure make sure we're a little careful. Right, so be careful with that measure right there. It'll sound like this. Okay, yeah. So again, so measure 19, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and, right? So just watch out for that syncopation there. 23 does the same thing, except the phrase is going to end here. So that's basically everything you really need to know and watch out for. Measures 13 through 25. Okay, I'm going to knock out a pretty big chunk here because this middle section is actually pretty simple. Once we hit 25, rest on 1, coming on 2, 2 and 3, hold that note, 1, 2 and 3, slur, 1 and 2 and 3, and all slurred. 29, we're immediately changing dynamics. We were mezzo forte through everything here pretty much so far. And then once we hit 29, we're going to drop down to piano, so we're nice and soft here. Then once we hit 33, all right, it's important to note that 33 starts on an up bow, and that's going to help us really bring out this crescendo that we've got right here, going all the way from pianissimo to forte in one measure. So really, amp up your weight, and like as you get closer to your, your balance point of the bow. 1, that's tied over to the whole note. 2 and 3 and that just, ties and kind of fades out to pianissimo. Rest. And then 37, I'm assuming that's what that, 37, it's cut off there. 37 just repeats exactly what you did for those two, so you've already got it. So high. Alright, so that basically covers everything in our parts. Just a couple things to look out for. There's some errors in the print here. Notice that the bottom notes have the slur here and they don't on the top while they have it here. Make sure, we are doing the slurs just like we're doing there, just like the bottom parts are. Also, they were nice to tell you this is third, and this is fourth. This is also fourth position right here. They just didn't write that for some reason. So you got to go to fourth position there. So just remember, fourth position is B, half step for C, D whole step, E whole step. All right. So 1 and 2 are close. 3 and 4 are whole steps. Last up, we've got the solo, which is pretty simple. We'll make this, just to be fair, we'll make this an audition. I'll probably post just a small playing test. Just record yourself playing it, and then I'll decide who's gonna do the last 4 measures as a solo there at the end. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of this, just shoot me an email, or you can always stop by. From 1 to 2 every day, I do that just an open Zoom classroom where you can just hop in and you can play for me or ask questions or whatever you need to do. Stay safe, guys, and yeah.